Alright, good morning everybody. So this is the review, and I'm hoping everyone's going to do it because it'll really help you with the test. So let me go through this, and I'll just go through it, and if you want to pause it, rewind it, you can, but here we go. Okay, Chapter 3 review. Write a polynomial function with rational coefficients with given zeros. What does that mean? Well, let's make the equation. So I do know one answer, so I'm looking for a polynomial. Number one, I know one answer is x equals 2i, another answer is x equals -4, and one more answer is x equals the square root of 7. So how do we get these equations? Well, if I have an I, it had to come from a square root of a negative number. So I would have probably had an x squared equals, well, that'd have to be a 4, but with the I, it'd have to be a -4. So I'd have to square root of a -4 to get that answer. And then, of course, if I bring that over, so I have an x squared plus 4 equals 0, there's my first mini equation. Great. Second one, this is really easy. Just bring over the 4, add x plus 4 equals 0. And of course, if you solve this mini equation, you would get a -4. Okay, the third one, the third root, or 0, could have been from a square root, so it had to come from a square. So to get the square root of 7, you'd need an x squared equals 7. And again, if you bring that over, you'd have an x squared minus 7 equals 0. So let's put all three of these together as a polynomial. So I can say p of x is equal to, and in any order, doesn't matter, x squared plus 4 times an x plus 4 times an x squared minus 7. There it is. All right, that's number one. Let me highlight that answer, and I'll go on to number 2. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is just to simplify the polynomial, so I'm going to add them. So I'm going to add like terms on number 2. What I see is these two are the same on number 2. So I'm going to add those two. And on number 2 then I'm going to have as an answer, I'll have a 14x cubed. Then I'll add, let's see, any x squareds. Yeah, here's my x squareds. And I'll have a 21x squared. And then I'll have a -10x. Done. Just to add like terms, that's all I need to do. Number 3, to do number 3, again, I'm going fast, but if you want to pause it, you can. To do number 3, first thing I'm going to do is multiply and bring through my negative, okay? It's just because I make mistakes, so I'm going to bring through my negative into everything, so I'm going to rewrite number 3 as, well, I'll have still my 8x y minus my 15x plus my 12y, and then I'm going to bring through my negative, so I'm going to make it a -3x and a -5y and a positive negative makes a positive 15xy. So then I can put that together common terms. These two are the same, those are both xy, so I'll have a 23xy. I can put together my -15x with my -3x makes a -18x. And finally I can put together my y's. I'll put my 12y with my 5y, and I'll get a positive 7y. Okay, that is my answer. Okay, boom. There it is. Okay. Number 4, we're going to have to multiply, okay? So let me go ahead and write out number 4. And we're going to do a big multiply on 4. I have x to the 6th minus 1 times an x cubed minus a 4x plus 3, and I'm going to multiply, okay? So when I multiply, I add exponents. So I'll have a x to the 9th. And then I'll get a minus a 4x to the 7th. And then I'll get a positive 3x to the 6th. Now then I'll multiply through the -1. And I'll get minus 1x cubed, but I don't see any more of those, so I'll just go minus 1x cubed. And then I'll get a positive 4x. And then I'll get finally a -3. So nothing has the same, so I'm just going to leave it there. -3, and that it would be my answer. I think I might change this problem, make it a little bit more reasonable, but we'll see. I'll do that maybe today when I have this time to work, okay? 5, I like 5. It is definitely an algebra 2 type problem. So on 5, I have to multiply 3 different things. So I like to multiply these two first. So on 5, I'm going to go ahead and put my 3x plus 2, and I'll multiply first my x plus 5 times my x minus 3 first. Okay, so I'll do these two first, and I'll ignore this first one. I'll bring this one back in. But you know, we're going to FOIL. X times x times 3, so forth, so on, right? So I'm going to get a x squared, a minus 3x, a positive 5x, and a minus 15. And I combine those two, right? Combine those two. X squared plus a 2x minus 15. Then I'll bring down this 3x plus 2, and I'll have a 3x cubed plus a 6x squared minus a, what's that, a 45x, and then I'll take the 2 through and I'll line them up, plus a 2x squared plus a 4x, and then minus 30, and then just combine and add like terms. That's the only x cubed. That's why I like to line them up. 3x cubed plus 8x squared minus 41x minus 30, and they're all different terms, so that is the answer to number 5. Okay, so let's take a look at 6. Okay, number 6, factor. Well, we can do that. So factor 6, so number 6, I have a x to the 4th minus 10x squared plus 9. I'm going to factor this, okay? And I'm going to get an x squared. I'm going to go minus 1 minus 9, because negative 9 times negative 1 makes 9, but when we add the x squareds together, we get the 10. Okay, now, mini equations or factor it, either one. Factoring is just as easy. If I factor it, x plus 1, x minus 1, it does factor, and this one factors in x plus 3, x minus 3, and then I get 4 different answers. I get an x plus 1 equals 0, or x equals negative 1. I get x plus 1 equals 0, or x equals a positive 1. X equals a negative 3, just my mini equations, and x equals a positive 3. Okay, so there's my answers. I like to write it like this, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 3. You don't have to. That shows all 4 answers, but I like this answer best of all. Okay. All right, that was number, where did I write 1 when this is actually number 6? Okay, 6A. And then 6B, let's do 6B down here. Okay, 6B, we're going to factor this one. So 6B, there's 4 terms, okay? 6B, we're going to have a 4x to the 3rd minus a 2x squared minus a 10x plus a 5. Okay, so if I'm going to factor this, I'm going to group. So I see 4 terms. I'm going to do it by grouping these two together and these two together. And hopefully I'll have something the same. So if I group these two, what do they have in common? An x. Oh, a 2x squared. Yeah. So that would leave me a 2x minus 1. Because 2 goes into 2 one time. These are going to have I want the negative out because I need to make it the same as this. I want to take out a negative 2, and I would have a, negative 5, my bad. Negative 5, and I'll have a 2x minus 1. Okay, now what do these two have in common? Well, they have a 2x minus 1 in common, so if I take that out, what's left over is my 2x squared minus 5. Okay, that is my factored form. All right, got it. Okay, then, moving on to 7. Now 7 says find the zeros of this, and this 7A will come back to, because that's really like the extra credit, okay, today for the test. Extra credit, that one right there. You're going to see that kind of as the extra credit. But let's look at B, okay? So 7B, we've got a 2x cubed plus a 5x equals an 11x squared, okay? So what I'm going to do is I need to bring them all, because to find zeros, you got to make it equal to 0. So I'll bring this over and put it right there. All right, put them in line. So 2x cubed minus 11x squared plus 5x equals 0. Okay, now before I start, I know I'm going to have 3 answers. It's going to be 3 answers. So let's see if I can factor this. First, before I do anything, I do have a common factor of x. So I'll take out my x first. Then I'll have a 2x squared minus 11x minus 5, right? And then that'll factor. I just have to be careful how I factor, but that should factor 2x, and x makes a 2x squared. Any of the multiples of 5. And put the 5 here, because that'll make 5 and 2 makes it 10, and I'll put the 1 here. So if I put the 5 here and the 1 here, there's my 10 and my 1. I need 11. Oh yeah, there's the positive. I knew there was something wrong with that. That is positive. That is positive. So I need negative, negative. Oh, my bad. Fixed it. So then I have my mini equations. My mini equations are x equals 0, 2x minus 1 equals 0, and x minus 5 equals 0, right? Well, that one's done. Boom, there's one answer. Here we'll go plus 1, divide by 2, divide by 2. We get 1/2. There's my second answer. Plus 5, and there's my third answer, okay? All right, we're moving along. We're getting this done, okay? Now, on number 8, we're going to graph it. We're going to factor and find zeros and increasing, decreasing, max, min. So I'm just going to get out my calculator or my phone. Phone's even easier, right, if I get out my cell phone? So let's get out Desmos, because I think Desmos is the easiest. So when we take this and you use Desmos, you've got to be pretty careful that that's all you use, okay? Because if I catch you doing anything else, like taking pictures or whatever, I'm going to probably get a little upset. So number 8, let's graph. Let's go to Desmos. Desmos for 8. I'm putting on my graph paper here. And I'm going to go y equals x to the third power, okay? Plus x squared minus 6x. Okay, there it is. Well, the zeros are at, and I'm going to write this down as I do it. Okay, the zeros, I can see the zeros. Those are at tap, negative 3. X equals negative 3 at 0 and at 2. Okay, my max is at about a negative 1.8, 8.2. So my max is at about negative 1.8, and round to the nearest tenth, comma, 8.2. And my minimum, I'll just tap on that also, my minimum is at 1.1 and a negative 4 point, if I round it up to the nearest tenth, 1, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and at least graph this, and then we'll talk about increasing, decreasing in a second. So, all right. Okay. Get my x, y axis out. So my zeros are at negative 3, 0, 2, negative 1.8 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.2 about, and then 1.1 and about negative 4.1, 2, 3, 4.1, okay? So my graph looks something like this, okay? Let's see how well I can do it. Got it. Now, increasing, decreasing. Okay, let's put these x values in. This x value is a negative 1.8, and this x value is a 1.1. So increasing, decreasing, please write this down. Increasing has to do with x values, okay? X values, okay? I'm going to highlight that, circle that. X values, okay? So let's see. I'm going uphill from negative infinity to negative 1.8. So increasing from negative infinity to a negative 1.8. I'm also going uphill, increasing from 1.1 to infinity. So also, and from 1.1 to positive infinity. That's where I'm increasing. Oh, that's bad looking at infinity. It will. Decreasing, I'm going downhill from here to here. So decreasing, again, it's x values. So decreasing from negative 1.8 to A1.1, okay? And that's usually pretty confusing for kids. With a little luck, we're going to get it, okay? There's my increasing and my decreasing on this graph. Okay, all right, now I'm going to keep moving because I want to get this done before too long so you guys can look at it, okay? Okay, number 10, use the binomial theorem, okay? So the binomial theorem, and I just may as well put it on this graph. So what I have is my number 10, and we skipped 9 just because you need fancy calculus to do it. We are going to have a 3x plus 2y to the 5th, okay? So I need Pascal's triangle. I wonder if I have it around here. I can make it real quick. I can make a Pascal's triangle real fast. It'll just take me a second. Watch this. Pascal's triangle. I'm going to go 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 4, 6, 4, 1, 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Okay, there's my, in this case, I want the 5th row of Pascal's triangle because of 5th power. So I want the 5th row of Pascal's triangle. And I want the, which term do I want? The 3rd term. So with the 3rd term, I want the 3rd term. So I'm going to have my 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So I need the 10. So I'm going to put down the 10. Start with 10 from Pascal's triangle. Put a 10 down. And then if I count it from my Pascal's triangle, 5th row, A5, A4, A3, A3, and then B5, B4, B3, B2, and all I have to do is plug in A and B and simplify this. So I'm going to go 10 from Pascal's triangle, A, which is 3x cubed, and B, which is a 2y squared. Okay, I just have to use my calculator to simplify this. So a couple of numbers I definitely know. I'm going to go 10. 3 cubed is 27, x cubed. 2 squared is 4, y squared. And then what is, I don't know, what is 10 times 27 times 4, and I get 1080 x cubed y squared. That would be the 3rd term. So if you were to have all these terms all lined up, this would be the 3rd one, and that's the one we want. Okay? All right. Moving on. Just about done. All right. Number 11. Let's take a look at 11, okay? And I'll use the sheet on 11 because I think we can do all the work on this. Find the equation of this polynomial graph. Well, let's take a look at it. So here's what I know. I have zeros at x equals -2. And we have to be careful because that happens twice. So I'm going to write it down. So be careful. That's a double root. Touch and go. It happens twice. I have a 0 at x equals 3. And I have a 0 at x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So then, finally, I'm going to go ahead and put this together. So I know that this came from some x plus 2, but it happened twice. X plus 2. I got an x equals 3 from an x minus 3 mini equations, and I got an x equals 6 from an x minus 6. Now, there is lots of ways to draw that. Just use your imagination. You can use lots of ways, but what we want to do is specifically make sure it goes through this point. So we have a point it has to go through, and the point is at 0, 3. So we've done this before, but with other problems. So I'm going to plug the 0 in for x's. I'm going to plug the 3 in for the y, and there's some number a that makes this work. So let's go y equals some a, which is the number I'm looking for that forces it to go through the point 0, 3, okay? So I'm going to go 3, which is my y value. A I'm looking for. 0 for all of my x's. 0 plus 2, 0 plus 2 again, 0 minus 3, 0 minus 6. Now if I simplify, let's see what I get. 3 equals a times 2 is 4. Let's see, I'm going to go 2 times 2 times negative 3 times negative 6, right? And what is that answer? I don't know. I'll tell you real quick. Hold on. That's going to be 4 times 18, and I get an answer of 72. So I get 3 equals 72a. If I divide, I get divide by 72, divide by 72. Let's see, 3 divided by 72 reduces to 1/24th, okay? All right, so my answer, I'm just going to take this 1/24th and put it right there. So here's my answer to this problem. Y equals, and I'm going to write these two together. You'll see it just to shorten it up because I'm going to run out of room. 1/24th, because that's A. Boom, put that right there. And then I'm going to write this twice. X plus 2 quantity squared, because it happens twice, times an x minus 3 times an x minus 6. There you go. That is, there it is, okay? All right. Last but not least, number 12. So we have x cubed, and you don't have to graph it. I will. Here's what our standard equation looks like. Here's an x cubed, and we're going to move it. So if we're going to move it, we're going to call it g of x. And oh, it does say graph, so we can graph it. So I'll just do it anyway. All right, I'll just graph it. It does say graph. All right, here is my parent function. I'll do my parent function in blue. I'll do it in blue. Okay. So I'll do my parent function in blue. Hopefully you can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, because that's the x cubed. So here's my parent function. It looks like this. Okay. What am I going to do with it? I need to make a g of x. So g of x we'll do in red. What is g of x? So first of all, we're going to translate it 1 unit to the right. So it's going to go this way to the right, okay? And then 5 units down. 1, 2, 5. So it's going to go there. So the inflection point goes there. So let's go ahead and do that part of it. So we'll go x minus 1 cubed. Always the opposite of the inside, right? Opposite. And then down 5. Now we're also going to then shrink it by 1/2. So we'll put 1/2. So there's my new equation. That's g of x. And I want to write that down so I get credit for that. Okay, there's my new equation. So then let's just do that. So then the difference is, instead of 1, 1, it's going to be 1, 1/2. It's a 2 up to 8, because I'm going to cube 8. Went up 8, I'm going to go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now do the same thing here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to see there's g of x, okay? All right. And then on the extra, the big thing on the extra is you have to use this formula, that a cubed minus my b cubed, where a is my x and my b is my 2. So it's my x and my, so I'm going to go, and this factors into, and it's up on the board when you take the test, it's the a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared, okay? So then what I'm going to do is put a and b here. I'm going to go x minus 2, and we'll go a squared plus 2x plus b squared, which is this squared, which is 4, okay? Now, x equals 2 is easy, but this, oh, that's an x, my bad, sorry. This is going to take the quadratic formula, which you're going to need to do to get the extra completely right. You need the quadratic formula here to finish it up, okay? And I'll let you guys figure that out. Okay, that's what I have. That's a long recording, but it's the review, and I'll stop it